Saint Jerome, patron of this chapel, is presented through an icon. His life story is in the pictures on the inside rim of the icon, starting from the top left picture and continuing counterclockwise, because time did not affect the influence and example of Saint Jerome's life. Sophonius Eusebius Hieronymus Saint Jerome was born at Sturden, a town on the confines of Dalmatia and Pannonia, to a wealthy Christian family. His parents were wealthy, not only materially, but also spiritually. He was born around the year 341 and had a good education, first in his hometown and later in Rome. The slanting perspective of the floor symbolizes how sometimes education, student life, and scientific discoveries contain temptations and slanted areas. Curtains represent how many truths and laws of science are imperfect and covered. We don't always see the true light, just as through the curtains we only see the part that is uncovered. Our knowledge is limited. The pillar made out of the stone blocks represents the structure of the school board. Wise teachers are holding books of the Bible, but there is also a group of cheerful students behind the curtain who are curiously peeking and thinking about temptations. This portrays future events in the life of Saint Jerome. During his studies in Rome, Jerome didn't live virtuously. He was light-minded like most of the students. Jerome gained knowledge, but spiritually he fell down. Silence filled him up with pride. Contact with non-Christian students robbed him of piety. He led a very dissolute life, far from God's grace. Nonetheless, God wanted and watched over Jerome. So Jerome realized that there had to be more to life. The grapes on this picture symbolize abundant wealth. It wildly spreads wherever it wants. The windows in the house are full of darkness. They represent nothingness and emptiness in the soul. The sidewalk on which Saint Jerome and his friends are walking is carefully tiled, but leads nowhere and ends in a cliff abyss. He began to study more, and after successfully finishing his studies, he began a journey to Western Europe. He went to the famous school in Tyre. Jerome knew the emptiness of the world. He began to read and study the Bible more and reflect upon it. His life journey began to be right and wise. He first found the monks, priests in the desert. Through their example, he learned the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. Later he went to the desert, but not even here was he freed from the constant attacks of the devil. Jerome had to fight hard with himself. He threw himself upon the cross, crying and calling to God for help. Baptized by his own humiliation, he became a living tool for God's masterpiece. He studied many languages and became a specialist in Hebrew. Mountains in the background of the third picture represent difficulties which Saint Jerome had to overcome before he got to the desert. We see in the darkness of night feelings of silence and perhaps idleness. The cactus portrays our nagging conscience. The snake represents temptation, and the rocks in the sand symbolize traps that one can trip on. The moon represents the reflection of the sun's light. Our life is as if in darkness, and we don't see God directly. We only see his reflected light in the faces of people, his creation. The moon doesn't shine all by itself. St. Jerome found light because he sought it, overcoming all obstacles, abandoning his pride in the silence of the meaningless desert, and reading the Bible. In the year 382, Pope Damasus called a synod of bishops to Rome to resolve a problem among the citizens of Antioch. He also called Jerome to this meeting. He named Jerome as his secretary and asked him to translate the old Latin translation of the New Testament. St. Jerome humbly and gratefully accepts the request of Pope Damasus I to translate the Holy Bible. He gives his talents to the service of the Church and therefore becomes a useful limb of Jesus' sacred body. Jerome had begun the masterpiece. In his monastery in Bethlehem, Jerome finished the modification of the translation of the New Testament and later translated the Bible from the original Hebrew and Aramaic text of the whole Old Testament to Latin. We now know this translation under the name Vulgata. Apart from that, he wrote numerous commentaries about the Bible and biographies of many saints. 135 biographies about writers, authors from St. Peter to Jerome's times, and polemic records and homilies. The differences in the floor in the Pope's palace and that of the missionaries' dwelling in the following picture represent the differences in the luxurious lifestyle of the clergy in the Pope's palace and in the stark poverty of a missionary. But windows in these pictures represent the abundance of light and peace in the hearts in both surroundings. The help of St. Jerome's priest friends in translating the Bible is an inseparable part of the piece. All are working according to their talents, helping each other, and therefore really living and practicing the words of the Holy Bible. Full Christian life is one lived in love and community, blessed by God's ever-present grace. There is a very ancient legend concerning St. Jerome, which recalls an old fable of Aesop. He has often been associated with the lion, and the lion was considered the mascot of the former high school that bore his name. It is related as follows. A lion ran into the monastery through the open gate. The monks ran away, terrified, but St. Jerome walked towards the king of the jungle like towards a guest. He noticed that the animal had a thorn stuck in its paw. He bent down, took out the thorn, and bandaged the lion's paw. The legend about the lion and St. Jerome is a wonderful example worthy to follow. The crying lion, that even today can scare us, has a thorn stuck in its paw. All you need to do is take out the thorn and lovingly bandage the paw. But to do this, one needs great faith, patience, and courage to follow the examples throughout the life story of St. Jerome. The thankful animal stayed in the monastery. Once a group of merchants stole a donkey from the monastery. The lion ran after them and frightened them. He led the whole caravan back. The merchants were embarrassed and asked St. Jerome for forgiveness. They not only returned the donkey, but they also donated abundantly to the monastery. The lion can then become a useful and pleasant animal. Therefore, this chapel of St. Jerome has a fitting patron. May all who visit this chapel, through his example of seeking the truth, find in it the light and refreshment of their souls. May they find inspiration and courage, bravery and strength to go toward the crying lion and help him in his pain.
Alleluja.